All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. And yes, as you could see by the title of the title card on the video, yes, I am officially calling it. I do believe that the DC movie universe is officially dead. And there is no way at this point to revive it. And I'm going to lay my case out for that today. And why this is, and what you can expect to see in the future, and what we can expect from these movies. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about how people defend James Gunn online and how it's short-sighted. And I'm going to point some things out that people just do not get about the movie industry itself and how things actually function. And sometimes I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with some of this stuff, but James Gunn has made some comments in the past that make me question anything that he is doing with Superman or any of the projects that are coming out on this slate. So, first of all, it is a fact that everything prior to Aquaman brought way more people into the theater than anything after Aquaman. It took a nosedive after Aquaman. That's when those changes by Hamada came in. Then you had people started to come back with Black Adam, because what happened with Black Adam? They announced Henry Cavill was back as Superman. And then a month or so later, they get rid of him, bring Gunn in, and change everything. People will argue online that, Henry Cavill couldn't bring people into the seats for Black Adam. Nobody expects the success of a film to be on a 10-second cameo, especially one that was revealed prior to the movie coming out. That is asinine to use as an argument. And that film did not get a release in several major markets across the world. But it's a fact that people were more interested in coming back, and the home video sales prove that as well. That movie sold really well on home video sales, and it also streamed better than even The Flash is on HBO Max. Tells you something. Now, you'll see people online argue, these last three films that had, other DC heroes that Zack Snyder created couldn't bring people into the theaters. They don't want to see these characters anymore. Yeah, because Zack wasn't involved, because they completely changed the tone and have ruined these characters. I mean, the very final scene with Ben Affleck as Batman was a joke. Like, I can't believe that's how they're ending it. It's sad. And what's really sad about Ben Affleck as Batman is this guy almost committed suicide because of what the studio did. He almost committed suicide. And then yet, he was still willing to come back. Willing to come back for a lot of cameos that they were doing in these current films. And then we find out there's some amazing sequences that were filmed for Aquaman 2 with Ben Affleck that have been cut. But they've been filmed. There was going to be more of him in The Flash. We were going to have Henry Cavill. They were bringing all of these characters back so that the people that enjoyed these characters, we were going to get to see them in more scenes, but they're cutting all of those scenes. And what they leave in was silly. I'm sorry. That scene in The Flash with Wonder Woman, Batman, and The Flash was dumb. Dumb. But that's what they think the audience wants. And if you look at the success of DC films, all of the films that have made money were the darker films. If you look outside the DC universe or the DCEU, whatever you want to call it up until this point, the Batman made some money, made quite a bit of money compared to the budget, but it still only made, a little over $700 million. You also had the Joker, which made over $1 billion. These are dark films, but yet the studio thinks people want all this silly humor, comedies. And, Gunn will talk a good game. I will tell you that. Gunn will go in and say, we're looking at allowing the filmmakers to make their films, and not all the films are going to be the same in tone. That remains to be seen, because he has never done anything other than comedies for films. Even when he does something like Slither, it's a comedy. He can't help himself. And now he's in charge of Superman. So Superman is interesting. There have been comments made by Gunn in the past, prior to him taking the job on, that he wanted nothing to do with Superman. He was not interested. They had approached him about doing a Superman movie. He was not interested in that character. That character, I don't remember exactly what he said. It was something about the character either being boring or there's nothing interesting about that character. He doesn't feel like he should tackle a character that's like a one-trick pony, something along those lines. His comments, you can go find him out there. They're out there. But then he signs on to do Superman. And so this is what concerns me. He has made comments in the past. I follow stuff all the time. I've even mentioned this in my videos. That one of the things he's mentioned is that they've come up with a whole new aesthetic for the look of the film. That's a little scary because it's not the look of the film that really is going to affect the success or not of a Superman film. It's how you tackle the character himself. If you make him goofy, silly, stupid, it's not going to be received well. If you emasculate him and make him take a back seat to stronger females, that's not going to work well. I have a feeling that's what's coming. And James Gunn has said that he finally figured out a way he could tackle this film that was interesting and new for him. For him. Superman isn't a character you should be really experimenting with. Zack Snyder was going to have an arc with Superman, getting him back to the way he was. And if you see the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, both Batman and Superman were finally those characters that we were looking for. Now, there was going to be a dark turn coming, but those were the versions of the characters that everybody was waiting to see. So they got there. There was a story arc going on. Then you have David Ayer come out, and he had this interview this week, and he talked about how his dark, beautiful Suicide Squad film was destroyed by the studio. They had it. They had gold. They had gold. And they traded it for a gun. What a ridiculous thing to do. I don't care what anybody says. You can go out and defend Gunn all you want. And there is still a possibility that his Superman movie may be good. But people are saying it's going to be amazing if it just makes $700 million. What? This is Superman. If you've got Superman and you think Gunn is as big as as everyone claims he is, then this movie should clear $1 billion easily, right? Right? Well, let's talk about that benchmark. That's the benchmark, right? If Batman versus Superman couldn't make $1 billion, Superman doesn't make money. If you look at the comics, Superman doesn't make the money. You know who makes the money for DC? Batman. Batman always makes money. Batman is my favorite character, okay? I've been following Batman comics. I own probably 5,000 Batman comics. Batman makes money. And that's why the Batman film with Matt Reeves made money, even though it wasn't as an amazing of a film as some people claim it to be. It still lacked a lot of the stuff that made Batman, Batman. And like I said, there has to be a lot of character growth for that character in the future, but that is the only DC project I'm looking forward to coming up is the Batman 2. As long as as there's character growth. The Joker too. Now that it's a straight up musical, I'm not really interested in that. I just don't see that being the thing that's going to draw everybody into the theater. Yeah, I'm going to go see it. I'm going to review it, but I don't see that being the thing. They had a dark film for the first one, and it made over $1 billion. Batman sells. Superman doesn't, and hasn't. Man of Steel, for it being its first outing, actually, it was profiting before it ever came out, and people don't want to talk about that. People will keep talking about how, these films aren't making money and that the Snyderverse is what's ruining everything today. The people that are doing everything today, Snyder's not involved at all. They've taken his characters and reduced them into comedies. That's what they've done. So no, people aren't going to be interested in that. People are interested in what was originally started. Black Adam was going to bring back what was originally started. The only way I could see that the studio can get out of the mess that they are in is that they announce Man of Steel 2 and change course. Maybe do James Gunn stuff as Elseworlds. Get the best of both worlds. But don't ruin what was already created. This is why they are where they are today. You had James Gunn come out and announce that the last 4 films, that they're rebooting. And it's not even a true reboot because he's keeping all the characters that he was, in his Suicide Squad film and the things he's created. Those things, Peacemaker, they're going to continue. Harley, she's going to be back. What's her name is going to be back as Harley Quinn. So, sure, his stuff, yeah, it's going to make it. That's perfectly okay, but we'll erase everything else and start over again. They're doing this to save money. I think they're personally going to get sold next year. There's a possibility they are going to be sold, and I hope that happens. I don't like Zaslav. I don't like James Gunn. I don't want these guys doing anything with these properties anymore. There was hope when he came on. And I was willing to give Gunn a chance as a CEO, but now he's got his hands in writing and directing, doing all kinds of stuff. That's not what he was. He was hired to be a co-head, co-CEO, not the creative guy who does all the stuff. And it's become the Gunn show. Man, that interview with the ex DC president over there at Warner Brothers, or the ex Warner Brothers president, talking about how there was no plan and everything and all the infighting. And man, it's sad to see that these were the characters. Man, they had it in their hands. They had it in their hands, and they couldn't. The studio's run by morons, and they're still morons. They're still run by morons. I can't see anybody can defend the decisions that they are currently making. I really am. I just don't know, guys. I have no hope for the future. Now, if Superman Legacy is a good film, I'll admit it. I will. But they're starting with Creature Commandos. Nobody asked for that. Nobody asked for Creature Commandos. Nobody did. Now, some people are going to say, well, it's great that they're going in a different direction, do something different. That's James Gunn. He only knows stuff with groups of people. He can't focus on one character, and then you hear what they're doing with Superman Legacy, having all these other characters in it. But it's still a Superman film. Sure. Man of Steel 2 would have been a true Superman film with Brainiac. Yeah, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of Batman with, versus Deathstroke. Sure. Let's just, get rid of it. Let's just get rid of that, and let's do some silly stuff. Bring in James Gunn. Yeah, bring that guy in. Let's do it. Full frontal nudity, dick jokes. Let's do it. I do not see this as being the thing that is going to save the DC Universe. So I do believe it is officially dead. It is dead. Are they going to be able to revive it? I don't think so. Not unless they change course and they fix what they've done, and they're not going to be able to fix it with Gunn. The only way to fix it is to bring Henry Cavill back, make the Batman film with Deathstroke, and let the story be finished. What was, the story that was already started? Let it be finished. Finish it. Then move on. Those were the movies that made money. Those were the movies that were bringing in the dollars for the studio. Everything since has been a joke, and they're trying to copy the Marvel formula, and the Marvel's struggling too because it's turned nothing other. They've turned superhero films into comedies. That's all it is. People are done with the comedies. They want the dark stuff. That is proven by the people that pay to go see the films. These studios are making movies for critics, not for the general audience that actually pays to see these films. That's a problem. All right, I do have a formal DC update coming with all kinds of stuff. There's some information about Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson making comments about having a Robin in the sequel and how they can make that work. I will have that other update up either later today or tomorrow, so look for that one shortly. I also have a bunch of movie reviews I have to do for stuff I've seen. I'm going to have lots of videos coming out, and I would appreciate it if you guys would watch those movie reviews. My channel is a review channel. I cannot survive alone on the DC stuff. I do need the support on those film reviews as well. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm pleading with you guys to also check out those videos because that is going to be the bulk of my channel. And I'll still be doing these DC updates, but there's going to be a lot more movie reviews coming up as well. All right, I do appreciate the support. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. You will be notified as I have new videos go up.